Leo, hello and welcome to your reading for August 8th through the 16th. Let's jump right in. You guys are having your birthdays, so happy birthday to my Leos celebrating this week. From the sun moving from 16 degrees to 24 degrees. So you Leos are very spiritual and intuitive. So right now, to start off this reading, we got Two of Air and the angels wanted to jump right in. So you might be having a back and forth conflict, an inner dialogue conflict. And one thing that's been really helping me is just to ask for angelic intervention, to ask for these ascended beings like Mary Magdalene, Sunat Kumara. I have this book, Divine Masters, Ancient Wisdom by Kyle Gray, which I think it comes in tarot deck form too. And I just started working with it. My husband got it for me and it's amazing. We have the Six of Earth. So from the Two of Air to the Six of Earth, it's like you guys are opening up to agree to disagree. You're learning to say, all right, this conflict is causing a lot of issues, but my information and my heart is telling me to just continue to nurture myself, to nurture what I'm building. We have the Hermit, a 9, and the North and South node are, the mean node is at 9, but the average node, the true node is at 7 degrees this week. So it feels like we're intuiting what actions we need to take. And a part of that is taking our North Star and going within and having time and space to really reflect over what is pushing us forward, what's allowing for us to get out of any stalemate situations. A lot of that time it is the agree to disagree, but sometimes it's taking a new approach. Learning to come from the heart in a way that doesn't need to be dominating and doesn't need to be right, but it needs to uphold a virtue. The Knight of Fire is passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. So there might be something that comes up over the course of this week to where you have to really be mindful. Saturn is in Pisces, so that for you all is your 8th house. And it feels like with Saturn in your 8th house, we're learning about the relationships that require the most devotion and attention, whether that's an investor, whether you have a home that needs revamping, remodeling, whether you have investments that right now with the wonky market, the bull market, you got to be extra patient around and do what you can to maximize the effort you're taking every day to financially fortify yourself and your life. And we have life experience, which 16 is what we start the week with. So if any intuitive nudges come up, let's pull from the Dolly deck to clarify. I just looked at the card from underlying from the last reading I did, and it was a Fool card. So you guys might have turned a page. You might have started a new chapter with your life. Last year we had a Venus retrograde in Leo at 13 degrees. The retrograde, now I want to check to see what exactly was going on. Oh, we had this retrograde in Leo, which you guys might have gone through a whole identity switch up. And now this Two of Air might be saying that the older version of you, the version of you that was maybe never content with your efforts, like you didn't feel like you were valued enough in your life and in the knowledge that you have to share with the world. Now I feel like you're coming out of that energy and you're seeing how much of a difference you're making. We have the Four of Cups for that Two of Air and the Six of Swords for the Six of Earth. So 2 6s, 6 is the number of the goddess, and it feels like you're learning a new way to communicate your insights, your knowledge, your intel, your information. And I'm gonna see exactly how long this retrograde lasted. It was followed by a Mercury retrograde in your 2nd house. So you guys may have moved. You might have relocated from the time of this retrograde. So Venus retrograded at 28 degrees, Leo. I gotta write this down. And then it went all the way through Virgo season to 12 degrees, Leo. That's wild. So it retrograded 16 degrees. This 16 has now come up several times, and we're almost 6 minutes into this recording. So what in your intuitive senses have changed? How have you shifted into maybe working with Archangel Chamuel, the angel of life experience? What has led for you to spread your wings? I can't wait to clarify that card. So let's make sure that we get the right card to clarify. from the Hermit, Archangel Raziel. I've heard recently that Archangel Raziel is the angel of the rainbow. I feel like Archangel Raziel might be willing to help you with getting your ideas really clear from the time of that retrograde in Venus in Leo. And towards the end of this year, we have another retrograde in Leo. So the Knight of Fire is with the Five of Cups. And we have a Four of Cups leading to a Five of Cups. So it's like this discontent, maybe in your home emotional situation, Leo, maybe in your travel situation. With life experience, we have an Ace of Pentacles. So that leads me to feel that maybe from the emotional disasters, that's what I got, you guys are having a sense of renewed purpose, a renewed sense of wonder in your life and in what's possible. So healing the motherline, healing ancestral work, motherline growing up is with this Four of Cups and the Two of Air. So for us, Four of Cups is just giving me Cancer. It's giving me your 12th house. And maybe you all had a divine sense of discontentment around family matters, around needing to run away from your family to get married. And from there, you just had a disaster, one disaster after the next, because you just were running, mad dashing in the middle of the night with no lights on into a lake, ran into a hornet's nest or something. And it's like, that's not what's going to serve, all right? So that 16-degree retrograde from what we manifested with our heart into learning, again, how to use our heart, not in a way to manipulate others or to secure the bag or to have nice things, but to really be someone who shines their heart light. With the Six of Swords and the Six of Earth, we have Rose without thorns. You have a right to your joy, peace, and the sweetness of life. So while we all love the thorns of the rose, I love the thorns of the rose. They speak to boundaries. There is that rose that we get from the market, the farmer's market, that rose guy who has taken off the thorns for us. And we get to just behold the rose. We get to love it. We get to see it in all of its beauty and understand that it deserves to be protected and, put into a nice vase with nice water. And it feels like with this growth that you all have, this growth emotionally, and a choice to stop duking it out with people who don't have your best interest at heart, there has been a significant leg of growth. We have the Wild Rose with the Hermit and Queen of Wands. Do it your way, embrace your uniqueness, untamed. So this very Venusian being looks like she's getting a lot of pleasure out of her time spent hermiting, and maybe even more pleasure out of her time coming out of that hermit mode and into a heightened, exalted place of speaking with intention during a Mercury retrograde. You guys have a lot of energy, and this is a year to make decisions, to be that leader, to be the person you needed growing up who didn't have access to speaking their mind, to living in their heart, to letting their intuition guide them. You might have had a family that suppressed you, suppressed your truth, suppressed your intuition. Ooh. With the Five of Cups and the Knight of Fire, we have plant yourself here, integration, embodiment, grounded action. So the Five of Cups is saying that two cups still stand. And I want to read exactly from the Dolly book, because I know that there is change in your emotional field, change in your emotional awareness, and change in how diligent you all will be this week with the moon moving through from Libra to Capricorn, which is your third house to your seventh house. Sorry, not your seventh house, your third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house. So your house of siblings, short distance travel, your talents, into the house of home of the emotional state, maybe inherited emotions, which is what we're clearing with that mother line. We're clearing it by agreeing to disagreeing and growing up, seeing what emotional cup is actually worth being in alignment with filling every day through our actions and through our repetitive thought patterns, through the way we talk to ourselves, the way that we allow for others to speak to us. If someone speaks to us without recognition of a unified field of love, it's important to call that out, to nip it in the bud, to make sure that that rose doesn't need to have thorns, and it doesn't need to be thornless, without a sense of like that balance of protection and safety. We need to feel safe in our communications. So Five of Cups. The practical advice. Take note of what aspect of the card attracts you most, Leo. Reconciliation or separation, setting out or staying put. These are all possibilities. Water treatments, baths, and showers can help you open up emotionally. Do not run away from your own feelings. This is the moment of truth, the long-awaited new beginning. And I did get the Fool card. Just because it was at the bottom of the other deck doesn't mean that it doesn't pertain to this reading. And what's so interesting is that you're supposed to plant yourself in whichever side you took from this card. The reconciliation, the distance, the longing. Plant yourself in that state. Maybe there's a longing to fulfill your own cup, to grow up. And time is of the essence. Time's a ticking. Maybe you have some deadlines coming up. Maybe you have some travel coming up, and you need to take action to make sure that you feel safe to enjoy that time. So with life experience and the Ace of Pentacles, we have trust the seasons, embracing change, cycles of life, transition, and growth. All around amazing reading so far, Leo. Let's get a Sacred Symbols card to lock in the guidance for the week. Well, I'm looking a year back, and it's so funny how things work. So I just want to be sure that I have everything right about that Mars retrograde. No, the Venus retrograde. It was to 12 degrees Leo last year, 2023. That was a 7-year, which was about our intuition. And maybe you guys needed to trust that you all were students of life at that time, and to not give yourself any like harsh remarks about the emotions that you experience with this water card. And Saturn's at 18 degrees Pisces right now. It's going to move over the course of this week, I believe. Let's see. Saturn moves to 17 degrees Pisces on the 12th, and that's when the sun hits 20 degrees Leo. So it's officially in the second decade. That's when we are at Tuesday, Mars Day. So there will be a passionate movement forward, but I think it has to include our emotions. And because Scorpio is you all's 4th house, it has to include an awareness of the bonds that we have to people that we would like to continue to nurture, and the seasons of those bonds. Maybe we're growing up and we're starting to see that, you know, I'm starting to track my menstrual cycle. As a woman of, you know, almost 33 years old, I've been alive for nearly 4 decades, but it's something to where it's like we are in different seasons of our life, and we are in various seasons just depending on where the moon is. So for the moon to move into you all's 4th house, we need to be really slow and loving and nurturing to ourselves when maybe we tend to rush. Maybe that card of the Knight of Fire is saying that you need to think things through carefully, because time is of the essence for you to get it right with yourself and to stop barreling ahead, mad dashing towards a partner or an investment or an opportunity, thinking that it's going to take these feelings away that you really actually need to learn to sit with. You have the Warrior, and Raziel is here in your reading with the Queen of Wands and the Wild Rose, encouraging you to do it your way. So, you know, if you want to be flashy when you do that mad dash, make sure that you feel good about it. Make sure that you've tended to your emotional garden first and feel really watered, and that you feel really loved with whatever it is that you're doing, and that you're not just waiting on the debilitating feeling of news to come in, of, you know, someone approving of your work, or these things that they can actually end up being very stifling if we rely on them a little bit too much. So let's see what the Warrior has to say. The Samurai, the Soldier, the Advocate. We often envision the warrior as an armored figure with a sword in hand, moving blindly toward battle. Yet, the deeper aspect of this archetype brings us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence, that two of air, are their default response. When this card appears, it's important to question the battle at hand. It's likely a great one with deep roots and long-standing tensions. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles, so choose wisely, brave one. As you draw your sword, realign with the eternal wisdom within, then surrender to the battle. When light, fierce clarity, purposeful action, resolve, and resilience. When dark, threats, savagery, abandoning the misuse and values. To go deeper, the Tao Te Ching, chapter 68 in the Bhagavad Gita. Without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. What do you stand for? What are you willing to rise in the name of? Write it out. And I feel like Archangel Samuel and this Ace of Pentacles is saying that when you write it out and you trust the seasons of what is happening through and for you, you'll come to terms with whatever emotions are beneath the surface, and this will help to motivate your day-to-day actions to sustain whatever it is that you're working through, to have a lot more of this ability to be grounded. Meaningful, purposeful action. Leo, affirm this guidance in the comments for me. I easily trust my heart and intuition. Activate this guidance, and I will see you all in our next reading. Aloha.